7th to the 9th of September, the Book Development Council says only 14% of over 16s are committed to reading. Now, the three-day program is dedicated to showcasing books that entertain, educate, empower, and inform. Joining me is Melvin Kabwe from the SA Booksellers Association. Melvin, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. First off, tell us why this book fair in particular is so important, because there are several, aren't there?
Well, there are several, but this is the premier one that looks to showcase all the best and the brightest in terms of the new authors that we have, and also to bring together a lot of interactivity. We have, for example, there's a theatre troupe, the Kwasha Theatre Troupe, that will be doing The Little Prince in the Market Theatre as well. We also have a lot of interactivity in terms of the digital demonstrations that will be happening. That's my particular interest. And so there really is a lot. We'll be discussing everything from superheroes. You know, Wakanda is big now, so for all the Wakandans out there, Bontle Sene, Clyde Beach, and Benoit Knox will be presenting their illustrations and also their comic book artistry to people that are interested in that. We have such diverse topics, even in terms of what's happening in the country with land expropriation. Advocate Tebeka Nkuitobi will be presenting a panel on the Saturday discussing land expropriation as well. And all the way to very personal books, because I think one of the things about books is that for you to really enjoy it, it has to speak to you. And because of that, we have people like Tracy Going, we have people that will be discussing depression and all these things that affect us.
So all relevant really things, obviously, in this day and age. The question then is our stories. That's the theme.
Yes.
You're trying to obviously promote South African authors here, and rightfully so.
Yes, absolutely. Now is the time for African authors. Now is the time for Africa in general. And I think we've got the Africa story rising, and so our stories encapsulates all of that. It brings together all those diverse elements, all those different voices to tell our stories. And particularly, I mean, we actually are in an industry that is quite female-dominated in the sense that a lot of the behind the scenes, the CEO that I'm sitting in place for now is a woman, and there are a lot of women authors that will also be showcased. I'm sure you would have...
That's a good thing, right?
It is, absolutely.
And it's good to hear a female-dominated industry. I'm glad you actually said it.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about how you actually get people to engage in becoming a reader, because that stat that I read, 14% of over 16s are committed to reading. It's a problem, obviously, some would say, in a society that needs to actually read and be educated on what's happening in the country.
I'll give you a scarier stat than that. 78%, according to the Pearl study done by the University of Stellenbosch, Dr. Nick Spall, states that of the schoolers and preschoolers that were surveyed, 78% could not read for literacy. That's a shocking statistic. That's basically saying 8 out of 10 grade 4s cannot read to understand what it is that they're reading. And so, I mean, from our point of view as South African Booksellers Association, we make sure that in terms of the ethics of our members, that books get to students, that books are actually made available in time for them to read and to study. But it goes beyond that. It goes to the actual community, reading to your kids at night, making sure that books play an important part of the home. 51% of South African households actually don't have books for leisure. So, as part of the SABDC and bringing together all these diverse voices, we want to push and promote that and make sure that reading is a priority. Because if it's a reading nation, it's a winning nation.
All right, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. That was Melvin Kabwe, SA Booksellers Association. That's